4. Hadith and the Quran. The answer to the fourth question is that the issue of abrogation or limiting of the Quran by the Hadith has arisen out of a lack of proper understanding and enough deliberation. In reality, no Hadith has abrogated a Quranic verse or limited its scope of application, and thus there arises no doubt from this angle on the status of the Quran as the Furqan and the Mizan. When people were not able to understand certain stylistic features of the Quran and the background and perspective of certain verses, they were also not able to understand the words of the Prophet ﷺ regarding these areas. All examples which are presented in this regard are of this type. The chain of narrations of some of these narratives have flaws. However, since they are often presented, in the following pages we shall take up each of these examples, disregarding these flaws, and present our view on them. 1. Of the animals which God has created on this earth, some are meant to be eaten and others are not. Since these latter type of animals, if eaten, affect the tazkiyah or spiritual purification of a person, and aversion to them is found in his nature. Generally, human nature provides a person with ample guidance in this matter, and without any hesitation, he is able to decide the right course. He very well knows that lions, tigers, elephants, eagles, crows, vultures, kites, snakes, scorpions, and human flesh itself are not to be eaten. He is well aware of the fact that horses and mules are a means of transportation and have no role in satisfying one's hunger. That feces and urine of animals are impure things is known to him very well also. No doubt at times human nature becomes perverted, but a study of human behavior shows that a great majority of people does not generally falter in this matter. It is for this reason that the Sharia has not given any original guidance on this matter, and after stressing that everything appropriate for eating is allowed and everything inappropriate for eating is disallowed, it has left the matter to human nature to decide. Consequently, the Sharia has provided guidance on animals and on things related to animals in which it was difficult for man, purely on the basis of his intellect and nature, to decide the right course. The pig is a quadruped beast of the same genre as the goat, sheep, cow, and cattle. However, it consumes meat like other carnivores. Should it then be considered forbidden or not? Should animals which are slaughtered in a way that all their blood is not drained out be eaten or not? Is the blood of such animals impure, as indeed are their feces and urine? If animals are slaughtered by taking the name of someone other than the Almighty, can they still be eaten? Since man is unable to come up with a decisive answer in these issues, therefore the Almighty guided mankind in this affair through His prophets, and informed them that the flesh of the pig, blood, meat of dead animals, and animals which are slaughtered in the name of someone other than Allah are also impure and unclean, and therefore people should abstain from them. In this regard, these aforementioned four things have been primarily discussed by the Sharia. The Quran at some places, by using the linguistic expressions "Kul la ajidu fima uhiya ilayya," say, I do not find anything forbidden in what God has revealed to me, and at some other places the word innama, which means only and only, has unequivocally stated that only and only these four things are prohibited by the Almighty. It is stated in Surah Baqarah, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu kulu min tayyibati ma razaqnakum washkuru lillahi in kuntum iyyahu ta'budun. Innama harrama alaykumul maytata wad-dama wa lahmal khinzir wa ma uhilla bihi li ghayrillah. Believers, eat of the wholesome things with which we have provided you, and be grateful to God alone if it is Him you worship. He has forbidden you only carrion, blood, and the flesh of swine, also any flesh that is slaughtered in the name of someone other than God. Surah number 2, verses 172 and 173. It is stated in Surah Anam, قُلْ لَا أَجِدُ فِي مَا أُوحِيَ إِلَيَّ مُحَرَّمًا عَلَى طَاعِمٍ يَطْعَمُهُ إِلَّا أَن يَكُونَ مَيْتَةً أَوْ دَمًا مَسْفُوحًا أَوْ لَحْمَ خِنْزِيرٍ فَإِنَّهُ رِجْسٌ أَوْ فِسْقٌ أُحِلَّ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ بِهِ. Say, I find not in what has been revealed to me through inspiration forbidden to a person who eats things which are edible, unless it be carrion, or blood poured forth, or flesh of the swine, because all these are unclean, or in disobedience to Allah, animals slaughtered in someone else's name. Surah number 6, verse 145. It is reported in certain narratives that the Prophet ﷺ has prohibited the meat of beasts having sharp canine teeth, birds having claws and tentacles in their feet, and tame donkeys. It is evident from the above discussion that this is merely a delineation of the innate guidance found within human nature. People have erroneously regarded this delineation of divine guidance as Sharia, even though it has no link with the prohibition of the Sharia stated in the Quran. Thus, the issue of hadith abrogating the Quran does not even arise here. 2. One salient feature of the language of the Quran is that the meanings which are understood of their own accord because of the presence of other words and indicators or because of some logical obviousness are not expressed in words. Complements of oaths, answer to conditional statements, parallel clauses of a sentence, and the copulative sentence of a conditional sentence are often suppressed. In Surah number 4, verse 11, for example, there is an ellipsis of the word isnatain, which means two, before the words fawqa isnatain, which mean more than two, and that of wali abihi thuluthan, which mean and for the father 2/3, after wali ummihi sulus, which mean and for the mother 1/3, and wali abihi, which mean and for the father, after wali ummihi sudus, which mean and for the mother 1/6, or words of similar meaning. Similarly, an ellipsis of the copulative sentence in وَأَن تَقُومُوا لِلْيَتَامَى بِالْقِسْطِ, which mean and that you deal with the orphans with justice, has occurred in Surah number 4, verse 127. As another example, consider the following verse: وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا طَائِرٍ يَطِيرُ بِجَنَاحَيْهِ إِلَّا أُمَمٌ أَمْثَالُكُمْ. And all the beasts that roam in the earth on their feet, and all the birds that fly on their wings in the sky with both their wings, are but communities like your own. Surah number 6, verse 38. A little deliberation shows that in the above verse an ellipsis of parallel phrases has occurred. Because of the presence of the expression fil ard, which means in the earth, in the first part of the sentence, there is an ellipsis of its parallel expression fis sama, which means in the sky, in the second part. Similarly, because of the presence of the expression yatiru bijanahayhi, which means fly on their wings, in the second part of the sentence, an ellipsis of its parallel expression tadubbu ala arjuliha, which means roam on their legs, has occurred in the first part of the sentence. Though this style is not present in the English language, it exists abundantly in classical Arabic. In Surah Nisa, where the Quran has mentioned women with whom marriage is prohibited, 2 instances of this style can be seen. The Quran says, وَأُمَّهَاتُكُمُ اللَّاتِي أَرْضَعْنَكُمْ وَأَخَوَاتُكُمْ مِنَ الرَّضَاعَةِ. And marry not your mothers who have suckled you, and your sisters through fosterage. Surah number 4, verse 23. And further down in the same verse, the Quran says, وَأَن تَجْمَعُوا بَيْنَ الْأُخْتَيْنِ إِلَّا مَا قَدْ سَلَفَ. And also 2 sisters in wedlock at the same time, except for what has already happened. In the first directive, together with foster mothers, foster sisters are also regarded as relations prohibited for marriage. Had the directive ended with foster mothers, nothing further could have been understood from it. However, if the relationship of fosterage with the mother makes her daughter a foster sister, then it is but logical to regard other relations of the foster mother to be also included in this directive. If being suckled to the same mother can make someone the foster sister, why can't the sister of the foster mother be regarded as the maternal aunt, her husband as the father, the sister of her husband as the paternal aunt, of her daughter's daughter and her son's daughter as nieces. Hence, it is obvious that all these relations are also prohibited in marriage. This indeed is the purport of the Book of God, and the words of Akhawatukum min al-Radha'a testify to it. This is evident to any knowledgeable person who deliberates on these words. Same is the case with the second directive. If combining two sisters in wedlock is a lewd thing as far as the relationship of marriage is concerned, then combining a lady with her brother's daughter in wedlock or with a sister's daughter in wedlock is like combining a mother and a daughter in wedlock. Hence, though the words used are وَأَن تَجْمَعُوا بَيْنَ الْأُخْتَيْنِ, the purport of the Quran no doubt actually is وَأَن تَجْمَعُوا بَيْنَ الْأُخْتَيْنِ وَبَيْنَ الْمَرْأَةِ وَعَمَّتِهَا وَبَيْنَ الْمَرْأَةِ وَخَالَتِهَا, which mean, and two sisters in wedlock at the same time, and a lady with her brother's daughter at the same time, and a lady with her sister's daughter at the same time. However, all these verses are suppressed after Bain al-Ukhtayn because what is mentioned points towards this suppression as obviously understood. So obvious are the words of this suppression that no student of the Quran can err in understanding them. The Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said, "Every relationship which is prohibited for marriage owing to lineage is also prohibited owing to fosterage." Imam Malik, Muatta, pages 395 to 396, Hadith number 1887. The Prophet is also reported to have said, "Neither can a lady and her paternal aunt, nor can a lady and her maternal aunt be combined in wedlock." Imam Malik, Muatta, page 341, Hadith number 1600. These narratives of the Prophet ﷺ only explain the Quranic verses referred to above and in no way alter or add them.